An independent study comparing a wide variety of similar projects has found that job sites that are composed of unionized building trades craft professionals are far more productive and far safer.
His name is Ed Murrow, the CEO of Independent Project Analysis Incorporated. His group was hired by the Industry Benchmark Consortium, a group of 52 different companies involved in the North American construction industry, all pooling their money to conduct research on capital projects on many levels, including performance. The IBC puts up the money, as does Murrow's organization, to look at hundreds of projects in the United States and around the world. The goal, to see what works and what doesn't. In a typical year, Independent Project Analysis will look at between 700 and 900 projects, a large number that allows for plenty of apples-to-apples comparisons on work that's being done.
One of the things that we discovered in the course of this study is that in the United States, union labor was distinctly more productive than non-union labor. Some people, particularly those who have an ideological bias around the subject, were shocked at the result. Some people who actually understand it a little better were not shocked at all. Okay, so they said it couldn't be otherwise. It didn't surprise me for the simple reason that as I looked at the results of the study, one of the things that was perfectly obvious is there's a very clear relationship between labor productivity and wage.
As you might expect, this was not good news to those who champion a race-to-the-bottom approach to construction, whereby they seek to win contract bids by assembling a low-wage, low-skill, oftentimes easily exploitable workforce. For many years now, it's been assumed that such a low-wage, low-skill business model was the preferred choice for on-time, on-budget construction. But IPA's research has proven otherwise.
I was delivering the results of the labor productivity study to one of our major U.S. contractors. And I actually had their executive committee and their president and chairman were there. And when I presented the result around the union labor, it got an argument going, okay? And oh no, that can't possibly be right. I mean, blah, blah, blah. Finally, the chairman stopped the argument. He said, for heaven's sake, boys, he says, they're better trained. He said, because they're better trained, they're going to be more productive. Is that clear? That was the end of the discussion.
It's because of the building trade self-funded training programs that place the skills and productivity of our crafts professionals infinitely above those of the non-union sector. And it's also the reason why the men and women of our unions rightfully earn a higher wage. It's the old adage of, you get what you pay for. We do the job right the first time, and most people fail to realize that the hourly wage makes up only half of the construction cost equation anyway. What about the time it takes to do the job? You can't forget that. And that is where we differentiate ourselves from the race-to-the-bottom approach through quality and productivity.
We have projects done in the Midwest that are cheaper than the equivalent project done on the U.S. Gulf Coast, despite the fact that they're done with considerably more expensive labor. And that's because everybody understands that the effective labor cost is hours times wage, not just wage. And the hours are what kill you.
In construction, safety is one of those things that's easy to give lip service to. But simply saying a job is safe is a far cry from being safe. Nothing impacts a job more from a moral and a financial standpoint than an accident. The unionized construction sector doesn't just talk about safety, we preach it, we practice it, we live it. Our culture of safety is unmatched anywhere in the world.
I think the way we have to keep up with demand is by training. I think if the unions continue to focus on training and on development of apprentices and good apprentice programs, they will always command a higher wage for their work, simply because it's worth more.
Productivity and performance, world-class safety, all things that independent research shows tilts the scale towards America's building trades unions and the union construction industry. Research from people with no dog in the fight. Research from people who are just interested in doing projects as economically and safely as possible. The skilled crafts professionals that comprise America's building trades unions are ready, willing, and able to demonstrate their skills and guarantee you a successful project that will bring you back for more.
The self-funded training programs of America's building trades unions set the standard in the industry and are not a burden to taxpayers. In fact, our joint labor management training programs invest almost $1 billion in private money to train and produce America's skilled craft workforce of the future.
They blanket our country from Maine to Hawaii, from Florida to Alaska. They're state-of-the-art, with curricula and equipment that are matched only by the passion of the instructors and the students inside. They are local joint labor management training centers of the 13 crafts that comprise America's building trades unions. In fact, they're institutions of higher learning within the construction industry and are a result of billions of dollars of investment in the skill sets of our men and women throughout the years. Indeed, many of our courses come with college credit. Quite simply, ours is a model that's not only working, but is the envy of the world. To ensure the high standards our customers come to expect, we take matters into our own hands. Our programs are self-funded by our unions and contractors.
If somebody comes into their apprenticeship program, they're going to end up investing in that student, into that apprentice, roughly $5,000 a year in training. And they lose that money if that student doesn't graduate. They lose that money if that student leaves the industry. So they want people coming to their apprenticeship program that understand what they're doing, understand what they're getting into, and are ready to stay the course and succeed.
So here's the common sense math that should appeal to anyone regardless of political leaning. The building trades turns out skilled workers without being a burden to the taxpayer, because they earn while they learn and emerge with lifelong career skills. Americans from all walks of life have an opportunity to earn a solid middle-class wage. And because they earn a solid wage with jobs that can't be shipped overseas, they contribute to building a stronger and more stable middle-class America, which has always been the engine of economic growth in this great nation. That being said, the most obvious benefits of our training centers are the knowledge and skill displayed every day on the job by our skilled craftsmen and women. Because their apprenticeship focuses strictly on their individual trade, they are truly specialists in what they do. Employers can be assured that they are getting not only workers, but specialized crafts professionals, products of several years of formal classroom instruction and on-the-job training. Training that includes attention to world-class safety. Our impervious culture of safety sets the standard in the construction industry, and that results in cost savings to our customers. And because of our overall level of professionalism and productivity, we're called on by the government and private industry alike to institute programs that keep jobs profitable and return our members home safely to their families at night. With America's building trades unions, our employers and customers have the confidence of consistency. Regardless of craft, you can be assured that a journeyman hired in Baltimore, Billings, or Boston has the same qualifications and skill set as one walking through the gate in Minneapolis, Memphis, or Miami. Finally, not to be overlooked, is a new element that goes beyond the hands-on skills our members learn. Each craft has now established a code or standards of excellence training program. It's a recommitment to our collective customers comes first attitude. And it's a course that focuses on the personal job site responsibility and accountability that will be required of each member. It's proof that we mean it when we say pride, performance, and professionalism are the watchwords as we move into a new era for America's building trades unions. Want to tour a facility and see it for yourself? We invite you to go to bctv.org and find the local council in your area. We'd be happy to show you around.
As the United States continues down the road to energy independence, America's building trades unions are proving themselves to be construction's green machine.
The environmental pressures we place on our planet and our country have far-reaching effects. Global warming, the economy, national security, our quality of life, they all feel the effects of our ability to make meaningful progress in reining in the amount of energy we burn up each and every day. While energy independence still requires the use of traditional fossil fuels, there still can be no mistake that the development of alternative and renewable sources will greatly improve America's energy outlook. A green economy gets more attention now than ever, but making it a reality is something that America's building trades unions have been working towards for years. We saw this coming, and we've been training to leverage these new technologies across our crafts from coast to coast. Tens of thousands of our skilled craftsmen and women have the type of training and certifications to perform the work that makes our country more energy efficient with each and every job we do. There is so much that can be done on so many levels that only the building trades has the educational horsepower and manpower to do it. We have the expertise and training to safely clean up brownfield sites to make way for the next generation of structures. We have the workforce ready to help with the most obvious and perhaps most immediate way to conserve energy: building and plant modernization and weatherization. In fact, there are programs that allow owners access to the capital needed to do the work, and energy savings essentially pay off the work in a few short years. In the United States today, buildings and plants consume 70% of our nation's electricity, yet the vast majority of them operate with severely outdated legacy systems and non-existent or even subpar insulation. You'll find building trades craftsmen and women working in landfills across the country, essentially turning one man's trash into another man's treasure by installing technology that converts methane gas to energy. Over the years, building trades contractors and craftsmen have been helping government and private industry to see the light on the benefits of integrated building systems, or IBS. Once called smart buildings, IBS buildings are showing themselves to be the wave of the future as technology becomes more advanced and affordable. This work involves our designing and installing systems within buildings that talk to each other.
You think of that terminology in terms of maybe of a farm, and think of it as individual silos. You got one silo filled with corn, you got one with wheat, you got one with rye. They're all filled and they're all important, but they don't talk to one another. Today, the change is that a building is not looked at as a set of individually optimized components. It's really looked at and viewed as a series of systems interconnected, each connectively optimized to support and communicate with one another.
When power, mechanical, lighting, HVAC, data, sprinkler, and life safety systems are all installed to work in concert, the net result is a financial bonanza for the owner. With this technology, owners get buildings that not only are more energy efficient and environmentally friendly, they're getting properties that better real estate investments. Renewable energy sources that seem to attract their share of headlines, things like wind and solar power, have been staples of our training programs. Programs we have invested tens of billions of dollars in with no cost to the taxpayer. No matter what part of the country you're in, you can be assured that the men and women summoned to work on your photovoltaic or wind turbine project are the most skilled and productive in the world.
We have taken steps by developing the industry's first solar PV installation textbook. We're really excited about this. It's been an area that's been neglected by the industry. IBEW and ECA contractors are currently installing PV systems, wind power generation, and other technologies like fuel cells and biomass as we stand.
One major shift in answering the country's energy demand is the return to nuclear power. After a 30-year hiatus, billions of dollars are being invested into the planning and construction of new nuclear facilities. America has finally rediscovered what many other nations have known for some time now. Nuclear is safe, and it's a powerful resource. Large energy producers are turning to America's building trades unions to bring these plants to reality. The reason? The work is complex and calls for the best and safest crafts workers our nation has to offer.
To be allied with the building trades and the constructive relationship that we affirm today through our signatures, we're just very excited about working with them, because at the end of the day, the success or failure of this plant is going to be with American skilled labor, and I think we can show that America has the most skilled labor and that these extremely complicated projects can be built on time and on budget by American workers.
We're not building apartment buildings here. We're building nuclear reactors, and they're state-of-the-art, the new technology, none built in the United States before. And he just made it clear that he has to have the best of the best working on those projects. And that's what we deliver. That's why we're the value proposition. The contractor didn't have to use us. The owner didn't have to use us. They obviously recognize that building trades members bring value to the table.
As America moves towards energy independence, the stakes are high and there is no margin for error. The best investment any government entity or private business can make is to have construction professionals do the work. Professionals who have spent years getting ready for this moment and have the commitment and training to stay on top of these fast-moving technologies in the years ahead. As Energy Secretary Chu once stated, there is no refund on energy projects gone bad. If the work is done wrong, it's gone. We're up to the task. We won't let you down. America's building trades unions. Value on display every day.
Project labor agreements, or PLAs, a long-time agreement of choice for large projects, are being used for construction and modernization jobs by an increasing number of public agencies and private companies, including Walmart.
Money talks. It's a saying that anyone who's ever done any kind of work in any kind of business has heard dozens of times. Certainly the construction world is no different. And one tool both the public and private sectors are starting to ask for when it comes to the successful completion of their job is a project labor agreement, or PLA. PLAs are contracts entered into between labor management and the owner that promote innovation and coordination on the job. Important factors like workflow, work environment, communication, and safety can all be brought to bear on a job using a project labor agreement. And it's no coincidence that these are the very factors that ultimately affect both the cost and quality of the job. PLAs deliver the highest trained, best skilled, and most productive construction professionals in the world. But most importantly, they deliver peace of mind. Owners know that the job will be completed on time, on or under budget, and will be constructed correctly the first time. See, years ago, PLAs were mainly used for huge government projects such as dams, bridges, and the like. But today, both public and private projects, large and small, and to varying degrees of complexity, are being completed under project labor agreements. There is really only one reason why the people paying the bill are liking what they see. The list of cost-conscious companies that are now realizing the benefits of PLAs continues to grow, and during a recent live webcast, BCTD President Mark Ayers talked about one of the latest converts.
Walmart is now signing PLAs. They just signed an agreement in New York City to sign PLAs on construction and remodel of Walmart stores. There's other areas throughout the nation that Walmart's turning to PLAs and in some cases local agreements. Walmart doesn't do anything unless it's the best for their bottom line.
Other private companies or institutions that have used project labor agreements include Boeing, Disney, Arco, Harvard, and Toyota. In fact, all of Toyota's North American manufacturing plants have been built under PLAs, and the company has reported that their construction costs are significantly less than their competitors who don't use PLAs. Once thought of as nothing more than a government jobs being offered as political payback, PLAs are just increasing in popularity, not just with Uncle Sam, but with the private sector as well. So says Dr. Peter Phillips, an economist who's been studying the construction industry for 20 years.
Nobody signs a project labor agreement because they have a gun to their head. They only sign it if they're going to get something they couldn't get otherwise. Most project labor agreements are signed in the private sector. They are not public sector contracts. They are private sector contracts. 3 out of 4 project labor agreements are private sector contracts.
Last year alone, more than 155 public and private projects totaling more than $100 billion in work have been submitted as PLAs.
Usually it's the economic savings that can be achieved by going with a project labor agreement. And most times we're approached to do feasibility studies because an owner wants to consider a project labor agreement. We're not salespeople for project labor agreements. We don't go out there trying to sell people to use them. Owners ask us to take a look at it, to give them trusted advice on using a project labor agreement.
So what's behind the trend? Owners and industry leaders are finding out the truth about project labor agreements. When they look a little deeper, the results and the research speak for themselves, even in the face of our competition's well-funded campaign against PLAs. We've already addressed the issue that project labor agreements are too expensive, simply because if that were true, private companies who answer to their stockholders wouldn't use them. And any cost overruns that our competitions might try to highlight are due to scope and change orders asked for by the customers in midstream. In these cases, the final cost would be impacted regardless of whether the project was completed under a PLA or not. In fact, project labor agreements can actually reduce costs. Nothing has a more negative and costly impact on a job than accidents, and the culture of safety instituted by the building trades can have a positive effect on the bottom line. That's because, particularly on large projects, PLAs often contain sophisticated health and safety provisions. Things like overall safety practices and training, safety committees, and drug testing can be incorporated into PLAs.
There can be cost advantages to PLAs in terms of reducing the cost to owners. I don't know specifically to public projects, but PLAs can be used to address workers' compensation issues, to reduce costs. They can be used to implement successful safety programs. In fact, by implementing programs across a project, it's been shown that they reduce costs of effective safety programs. So there are a number of reasons. I would say that cost and on-time completion are the leading reasons.
What about the school of thought that project labor agreements limit competition? Well, whether you're a taxpayer contributing to a government project or an owner ready to break ground, you certainly want people to bid for the job, to earn the work. We agree. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, the research doesn't support the view that it limits competition or that any reduction in the number of competitors increases price. I mean, going from 100 competitors just speculatively down to 50 has no effect on price. But realistically, PLAs, one could be concerned about that, but there's no credible evidence that they substantially limit the number of competitors. There may be some cases where, for example, open shop has deliberately refused to bid, and that could have an effect. But overall, I haven't seen credible evidence that it limits the number of competitors on a project.
In the San Jose area of California, 2 school districts, the Eastside Union School District and the San Jose School District, both underwent large capital projects. To get the work done, one used a PLA, the other did not.
So we went in and looked at around 100 projects in these 2 districts over a 4-year time span. And both before and after the implementation of the PLA in the East Side District. And we found that the number of bidders on those projects were not different.
What do projects involving the Port of Oakland, Boston Harbor, the Southern Nevada Water Project, and the New York City schools have in common? Well, they're just a few of the many PLAs where the Open Shop has participated in the work. Why then does our competition continue to claim they're excluded?
New York City School Construction Authority, and don't quote me on the numbers, but out of about 500 contractors, I think about 110 were non-union contractors, and 300 and some odd were union. So there is a mix. They are not union only, and they've worked out. They've worked out. There's been 2 studies on the project I'm talking about for the New York City School Construction Authority, which was a huge building program of all their schools, hundreds of schools. And a study did show and prove that there were savings using project labor agreements.
Bluntly, from the union's perspective, I think it's a good marketing tool. If the unions behave well and treat those open shop contractors fair, they can break down some barriers that they might not have ever had that opportunity before.
It's a new day in the building trades. In the past, we were at times our own worst enemy. America's building trades unions are committed to value on display every day. We're achieving that goal due in large part to the widespread adoption of local accountability standards and codes of excellence for our rank and file. Slowly but surely, we're changing the outdated stereotypes and prejudices that unfortunately continue to reside in many people's minds. We know that our success is tied directly to our ability to deliver for the customer. From our leadership on down to the construction professionals that walk through that gate, ours is a customer comes first attitude, where we treat every single job as an audition for the next one.
The depiction of the way unions were in another time is just that. It is another time. This is well, uncharted territory in the last couple of years for the economy, but labor unions have adapted, they've adjusted, they've modernized, and have become very sophisticated because it's about business. They are business savvy. I shouldn't say become, but they are business savvy, and they use the tools of business.
So PLAs should be thought of as essentially a discovery tool designed to look out into the world and see if there are mutual victories out there that are not being captured in the market without this contract.
The Codes and Standards of Excellence programs instituted by America's building trades unions combines our world-class skill level with renewed personal accountability to deliver maximum value for our customers' investment.
As businessmen and women, whatever your industry, you can certainly relate to this. It doesn't help you much to have a talented worker who isn't motivated. And conversely, it doesn't help you much to have a worker who tries hard, but just doesn't have the skill set you need. That's why the best employees are the ones that bring talent, motivation, and productivity every day to the workplace. That's exactly what we intend to do. This is the renewed commitment of every craft within America's building trades unions to the customer via our Codes or Standards of Excellence programs. It's a promise that we will bring the most skilled and hardest working construction professionals to your project. These programs are not just one-time win one for the Gipper motivational speeches. They are formal, institutionalized training programs that are being implemented from coast to coast. The courses represent a renewed call to personal accountability, with the common sense reminders that the only promise we are ever given is the first 8 hours on the job. If we want to come back the next day and the next, then nothing but our best will do. And that goes for participating contractors as well.
Delivering on our promise to the customers. If we're selling something at the front end of the job and we're not delivering it at the back end of the job, we're doing a disservice to the customer.
I believe Code of Excellence has opened up a whole new avenue for thinking beyond one day. It has to do with thinking ahead of getting more work down the road. We have to prove to owners as well as general contractors that we are a notch, and I firmly believe we're still a notch above everybody else.
Under the Code or Standard of Excellence, we agree to work with our contractors to promote safe and efficient jobs. It calls for everything from the timely delivery of tools and materials to some very straightforward things like arriving to work on time and ready to go, obeying customer and employer work rules, cooperative work habits and attitude, zero tolerance for alcohol or substance abuse, 8 hours work for 8 hours pay. There's more, but you get the idea.
When you have the foreman and the general foreman using that to motivate their crews, you know it's working. You know it's working. It's not us trying to mandate something. It's a labor management cooperative effort, and that's when the paybacks really come into play.
When we have the cooperation that we would get through the Code of Excellence program, that value is accentuated, and it's more value for us as an owner.
What the Building Trades Codes of Excellence and Standards of Excellence do is make every minute of every hour count. It makes total sense for an owner who wants the best construction professionals in the world at a competitive price. And while it's true our skilled craftsmen and women are usually paid a higher rate than our competition, wages are not really the issue. The simple math that determines the cost of a job is wages times hours, and it's the hours that can kill you.
A big construction project like this is all about risk. Risk of cost overruns, risk of not getting done on time, and if you pay, and you will pay, to eliminate risk, it's cheaper in the long run to do it that way.
The results of using the Code of Excellence in this project has been astounding. Preliminary numbers between Phase 1 and Phase 2 show a 25% savings in labor. Overall savings about 15% on the project.
The Codes and Standards of Excellence programs of America's building trades unions, bringing pride, performance, and professionalism to your job. Just one more example of our value on display every day.
America's building trades unions believe in the American dream. We understand that quality of life extends far beyond the job site. And when our members go home to their families every evening, our work, building our communities, is just beginning.
You see us supporting county fairs or local parades. You see us without even really knowing who we are. We're the coach of your kid's team. We're sitting next to you in your place of worship. We're the proud men and women of America's building trades unions. We love our jobs, we love our communities, and when possible, we love doing what we can to lift those up who aren't as fortunate. From coast to coast, from border to border, we have a history of giving that goes back generations. In fact, the local charity and fundraising efforts you'll find us involved in are as diverse as the communities themselves. There is no way to calculate from a financial standpoint what every local union contributes to the millions of outreach campaigns over the years. But we do know where they come from, and the words, "my hometown," have a special meaning to each and every one of us. And when we collectively mobilize behind worthwhile causes on a national basis, good things happen. Helmets to Hard Hats is a program that connects National Guard, Reserve, and transitioning active military members with employment opportunities within the construction industry. Since its inception a few short years ago, H2H has placed thousands of veterans not in jobs, but in meaningful, well-paying careers that allow them to enjoy a certain freedom and quality of life that they risk their own lives to defend. We honor these men and women not only because many of our members are vets themselves, we try to help because these young people have a lot to offer, and it's simply the right thing to do.
There are times when you come out that guys need help, and need a little assistance, or at least being able to be pointed in the right direction. That's what Helmets to Hard Hats has done. It's helped me out a ton, given me a career path that I know I can support my family with and keep moving ahead for the rest of my life.
I would challenge other groups or programs to do the same thing and follow suit and help my fellow brothers and sisters out there that struggle every day after we get out of the military and are looking for somewhere to belong. And want to have the dignity of working in a place that pays them a decent wage and treats them with respect, with the respect we're used to and the brotherhood that we're used to when we're in the military.
Every year, another 6 million people are diagnosed with diabetes. It is the only disease in America that is not in decline. More than 25 years ago, America's building trades unions got involved with some parents of children with diabetes because they had a dream to build a facility that would become the center for finding a cure for this debilitating and even deadly disease. Across the country, tens of thousands of building trades members devoted their time and energy to raise funds in a wide variety of events, even by collecting money on street corners from motorists passing by. After 7 years, enough money was raised to break ground on the Diabetes Research Institute, part of the Miller School of Medicine at the University of Miami. Built 100% by building trades men and women, the DRI has become the world leader in cure-focused research for diabetes. Once the facility was complete, building trades fundraising continues to this day to support the doctors, researchers, and medical professionals who have the same goal we do, to make diabetes a thing of the past. Now, some $40 million in raised funds later, the Diabetes Research Institute is our best hope.
The Building Trades Core Curriculum program introduces the possibility of a career in construction to young people and raises the quality of life throughout our communities.
These two young men are Mo and Keith. They're first-year apprentices from IBEW Local 46 in Seattle. They work hard learning their trade, and they're getting valuable hands-on training both on the job and in their apprenticeship school. They may look and act just like thousands of other apprentices in the 13 building trades crafts, but these two are just a little different. They come directly to their trade from the Building Trades Core Curriculum program, where representatives from the individual trades reach out to bring young men and women into the crafts who might not otherwise be exposed to the good careers of the unionized construction industry.
Pre-apprenticeship program is a very good program, and when you're there, you can easily find out what you want to be. You can choose to be an iron worker, or electrician, or a sheet metal. So don't give up. Stick with it. Get up in the morning, persevere, be punctual, be there on time, and show them what you're made of.
They give me all the experience what I need, really. The certification from A to Z, and they give you a confidence.
They ask lots of questions, they're always interested in looking at the blueprints to see what's gonna go on, what's happening next. And I encourage them to ask questions a lot to help filter out anything that they need to know.
These two young men are just two examples of the hundreds of apprentices who hope to benefit from the BCTD Core Curriculum program, where interested young men and women get to learn about a career in the union construction industry and learn about the courses common to all the building trades. It's in the process of happening in classrooms just like this one all over the country. Together, the building trades and their partners in business and contracting are establishing a standard set of knowledge for those who hope to learn a trade.
These standards give them at least the beginning level of understanding of what the trades are like, what the construction industry is like, and the math skills, the safety skills to start them out at the beginning, being prepared for a job in the construction industry. This is government, community outreach organizations, the building trades crafts, contractors, engineering companies, all together to create opportunity for young people that are looking to get into the industry as a career.
It makes sense to make those partnerships and for them to be able to understand the unions and understand apprenticeship before they even begin to start making those contacts.
We're trying to broaden their horizon. One of the things I think this curriculum will bring to them is an overview of all the crafts. And then it gives them an opportunity to see things that they would never see in their natural environment.
When each student has their eyes open to the ideas of doing an honest day's work for an honest day's pay, they're given an opportunity to shine and make their own decision about their life. It's a win-win for everyone involved.
The philosophy behind it is to create opportunities for low-income youth in these programs to have a greater skill set and one step up when they're applying for those apprenticeship programs.
These are good jobs that won't go overseas. These are jobs that enrich our communities by paying each craftsman and women a decent wage that is then reinvested into our neighborhoods and society.
I feel like I have somewhere to go to. I know that after each step and as many hours as I do, I get a pay raise, learn more skills, and every day just getting more comfortable with the people here and the equipment and just being in a construction environment.
I'm the living proof. Like I said, I started in the Youth Built program. I was a single teenage mother on welfare, and it has provided a great life for me. You know, I know I may fall short, might be a recession, but I'll never be poor again.
I like being a part of something that's bettering our society in each and every way.
In the years ahead, as the number of dedicated construction professionals who are retiring continues to increase, it's more important than ever before to expose their replacements, the young, to one of the best choices they will ever make, a career in the building trades. The building trades is, after all, providing each of these young men and women who enter the core curriculum program a chance at something to do more than a dead-end job. They're offering them an opportunity for a real career with real benefits. The Building and Construction Trades Department Multi-Craft Core Curriculum Program, building stronger communities, stronger families, stronger America.